Hello students, welcome to the new lecture session of NDT or non-destructive testing. The previous we will learn about visual testing, liquid penetration testing. Today we will start the magnetic particle testing. This is also a method of non-destructive testing. Student, let's start with this magnetic particle. Magnetic particle testing or MPT is used for the testing of material which can be easily magnetized. This method is capable of detecting flaws open to surface and just below the surface. Ferromagnetic material include most of iron, nickel and cobalt alloys, and many of precipitation hardening steel such as 17,4 pH. This material lose their ferromagnetic properties above a characteristic temperature called the Curie point, which is approximately 1033 Kelvin for most ferromagnetic material. The magnetic particle testing equipment is cheap, robust, and it can be handled by semi-skilled personnel with require elaborate protection such as needed for the radiography. So student, this magnetic particle testing governed by the laws of the magnetism. It restricts to the inspection of material that can support a magnetic flux line. It used for testing of ferromagnetic material. It capable of detecting flaws open to surface and just below the surface. It is fast and relatively easy to apply. It inspects a variety of production forms including casting, forgings and weldments. Underwater inspection is another area where magnetic particle inspection may be used to test items. Next, after the definition, we start with the magnetism. Magnetism, what is magnetism? Magnetism is the ability of a ferromagnetic material to attract other ferromagnetic materials. The magnetism is the ability of a ferromagnetic material. The ability of ferromagnetic material to attract other ferromagnetic material is called magnetism. The piece with this ability are called a magnet. Basically, the magnets are classified as two types. One is permanent magnet, another one is temporary magnet. Permanent magnet, an object made from a material that is magnetized and create its own determined magnetic field, that is called the permanent magnet. And temporary magnet, when a magnet that remains magnetized for only a small time interval, that is called the temporary magnet. The material, the latter type retain magnetic quality only as long as a magnetized force is being applied. After knowing the magnet, Question: the material are usually classified in three parts or three categories. One is ferromagnetic, paramagnetic, and diamagnetic. Ferromagnetic materials are strongly attracted to a magnet and can become easily magnetized. Example: iron, nickel, and cobalt. Paramagnetic material that can be magnetized but only weakly. Means paramagnetic materials are weakly attracted by magnetic force of attraction. A last example of authentic stainless steel. And the next one is diamagnetic. The diamagnetic materials are slightly repelled by a magnet and it cannot be magnetized. Example of Bi, Av, Sv. So there are basically these three types of material. One is easily magnetized, that is called ferromagnetic material, though some of are magnetized but it's weakly attracted, that is paramagnetic. And last one is diamagnetic, the material does not magnetized. So after knowing the material property, let's start with some mechanism. So polarity. Polarity is the orientation. Polarity is the orientation of north and south poles space. We know the magnetic has two poles, now north pole and south pole. So the orientation of north and south pole space, is called polarity. And what is magnetic force? The force of attraction. The force of attraction is called magnetic force. And the area around the magnet where the magnetic force is observed, the area around the magnet, around a magnet where the magnetic force are observed is known as the magnetic field. Permeability. Permeability is a material that can be magnetized. This helps to a material that can be magnetized. It can be expressed by mu equals to B by H, where mu means permeability, B stands flux density, and H stands magnetized force, the magnetic force. Then comes to the flux density, the number of line of force per unit area, the number of line of force per unit area, that is called flux density. Now next is magnetizing force, the strength of force of attraction, that is called the magnetizing force. So what is polarity? Polarity is the orientation of a north and south pole space is called the polarity. What is magnetic force? A force of attraction or propulsion, of any material, that is called magnetic force. And the area, and what is magnetic field? The area around a magnet, magnetic force can observe, that is called magnetic field. Permeability. when a material can be magnetized. A material can be magnetized. How much it is magnetized? It can be magnetized. How much a material can be magnetized? That is called permeability. The mathematical expression is mu equals to B by H, where mu means permeability, B means flux density, and H means magnetic force. And what is flux density? What is flux density? The number of lines, the number of lines of force, the number of lines of force per unit area. The number of lines of the number of lines of force, the number of lines of force per unit area is called flux density. And what is magnetizing force? The strength of force of attraction, the strength of force of attraction is called the magnetizing force. Next is coercive force. So what is coercive force? It is the ability of ferromagnetic material. It is the ability of ferromagnetic material to withstand an external magnetic field without becoming demagnetized. Without becoming demagnetized. The ability of ferromagnetic material, the ability of a ferromagnetic material to withstand an external magnetic field without becoming demagnetized. That is called coercive force. What is retentivity? The ability of a coil, the ability of a coil to retain some of its magnetism within the core after the magnetization process has stopped. The ability of a coil to retain retain some of its magnetism within the core after magnetization process has stopped. That is called retentivity. Next is hysteresis loop. We'll discuss in the next slide this hysteresis loop. So before discuss the hysteresis loop, now comes to the residual magnetism. The amount of magnetism left behind, the amount of magnetism left behind after removing the internal magnetic field from the circuit. The amount of magnetism left behind after removing the internal magnetic field from the circuit is called as residual magnetism. So student, coercive force is the ability of ferromagnetic material to withstand external magnetic field without becoming demagnetized. Retentivity is the ability of a coil to retain some of its magnetism within the core after magnetism process has stopped. And residual magnetism, the amount of magnetism left behind after removing the internal magnetic field from the circuit. So now comes to the next topic, that is hysteresis loop. So student, a great deal of information can be learned about the magnetic property. A great deal of information can be learned about the magnetic property of a material by studying its hysteresis loop. Here is the hysteresis loop. Hysteresis loop shows the relationship in between the induced magnetic flux and the magnetizing force, magnetic flux and magnetizing force. It is often referred as a BH loop also. Sometimes it is also known as the BH loop also. Here B plus is the flux density, B minus here B plus is the flux density, B minus is the flux density in the opposite direction. H plus is the magnetizing force and H minus is the magnetizing force in opposite direction. A is the saturation point, B is the retentivity point, C is the coercivity point, and D is the saturation in the opposite direction. The loop is generated here. The loop is generated by measuring the magnetic flux of a ferromagnetic material while a magnetizing force is changed. A ferromagnetic material that has never been previously magnetized or has been thoroughly demagnetized will follow the dashed line as H is increased, as dotted line as H is increased. As the line demonstrates, the greater amount of current applied, H plus applied, the stronger the magnetic field in the component B plus. At the point A, almost all of the magnetic domain are aligned, and an additional increase in the magnetizing force, which will produce very little increase in magnetic flux. The material has reached the point of the magnetic saturation. When H is reduced to 0, the curve will move from point A to point B. At this point, it can be seen that some magnetic flux remain in the material even though the magnetizing force is 0. This is referred to as the point of retentivity on the graph and indicates the remnants or level of residual magnetism in the material. As the magnetizing force is reversed, the curve moves to the point C, where the flux has been reduced to 0. This is called the point of coercivity of the curve. The force required to remove the residual magnetism force, the material, is called the coercive force or coercivity of the material. As the magnetizing force is increased in the negative direction, the material will again become magnetically saturated, but in the opposite direction, the point T. Reducing H to 0 brings the curve to point E. Reducing H to 0, the curve to point E. It will have a level of residual magnetism equal to that achieved in the other direction. Increasing H back to the positive direction will return B to 0. B to 0. Notice that the curve did not return to the origin of the graph because some force is required to remove the residual magnetism. The curve will take a different path from point F back to the saturation point where it will complete the loop. So students, from here when H, or H means magnetism force is applied, or magnetic force, or H is increased, increase the magnetic field in the component. Stronger the magnetic field component, it moves in this way, following the dotted line to point A, so saturated point. When at that point saturation point, then when at the from saturation point the material has reached the saturation point when H is reduced to 0. When H is reduced to 0, so it moves not in the same direction at point O. It moves in this way and comes to the point A to point B. So that's why B point is called as the extensivity. After that, it is reduced, it goes to the point C, that is co-resistivity. And when in the negative way, it will go to the saturation point D, and when it come back, that is called E, and follow the F, point F, and then go for the A. So this is the loop, loop is created. So this loop is known as the hysteresis loop. Now come to the working principle of this magnetic particle testing. When a specimen is magnetized, the magnetic lines of force are predominantly inside the ferromagnetic material. The magnetic field introduced into the specimen is composed of magnetic line of force. Wherever there is a flaw which interrupts the flow of magnetic line of force, some of these lines must exit and re-enter the specimen. These points of exit and re-entry form opposite magnetic poles. When minute magnetic particles are sprinkled onto the specimen, these particles are attracted by these magnetic poles to create a visual indication, approximation the size and shape of the flaws. It is abrupt change in permeability that causes this particle builds up. The magnetic particle can be applied as a powder or more commonly as liquid suspension, which is usually known as the magnetic ink. To be detected, linear flaws such as crack must be favorably oriented in relation to the direction of the magnetic field. The color of the magnetic particles should be in good contrast to the color of the surface of the specimen for easy detection. For maximum sensitivity, the flux density should be oriented 90 degrees to the discontinuity. However, it is generally possible to detect flaw which lies up to about plus minus 45 degrees to the detection of flux line. It is important to note that because of the better sensitivity, when the discontinuity is at 90 degrees to the lines of the force, the magnetic flux should be induced in several different directions when the possibility flows are not known. So So students, the working visual is the magnetic field introduced into the specimen is composed of magnetic line of forces. Flaws interrupts the flow of magnetic lines of force. Some of these lines must exit and re-enter the specimen. This exit and re-enter point form opposite magnetic pole. Minute magnetic particles are sprinkled onto the specimen. Particles are attracted by this magnetic pole to create a visual indication. The magnetic particles can be applied as a powder, liquid suspension, and magnetic ink. The colorful magnetic particles should be used in a good contrast. So class, today we'll discuss on the definition of the magnetic particle and then basic mechanism and magnetism properties, magnetism properties which is helps for the magnetic particle testing, and study the hysteresis loop and the working principle. From the next lecture session we will discuss the magnetic techniques and the procedures. So thank you class, thank you so much. Till then, stay safe and stay at home. Thank you so much.